Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. A few months ago, before the Z8 was released, we had some rumors about what date it should be coming until Nikon actually produced some information. You go, hey, we're coming in a couple weeks. There had been some rumor that the ZF would have been released at the beginning of August, but that got pushed back. Now the rumor said it was going to be the 17th. So it is the 17th. Here I am in Southeast Asia. Haven't seen anything yet, but as we know, Nikon seem to tend to do these releases at nighttime for us, daytime for you guys in the US. Will we see or get an announcement about this upcoming camera? Well, we don't know just yet. A lot of things that's been speculated, new information has been coming out, but Nikon rumors have been oddly silent for the last few days about whether or not we'll be seeing this camera anytime soon. So we've been speculating about a number of things that this camera is going to get. And of course, as things go, it's all speculations. Some of you don't like to hear the speculations. You don't get excited about that stuff. You just want to see the finished product. I understand it. If that's not something that interests you, then you can walk away right now and forget about anything. You don't have to give the video a thumbs up. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. That's okay. But remember, it takes some time to do some production and get these things out for you guys. And again, being rumors, these are things that we talk about. If you're a car fanatic or you're a television fanatic or whatever it is that you're into, most of us are looking for information about the upcoming products and what it's going to be. Whether or not it's going to give us the features in the end, there is something that's exciting about the human psyche and speculating on what could come next. With that being said, there was one thing that I started delving into more. That's the pixel shift. I mentioned it in my last video because not many people talk about this stuff. Now, pixel shift has been around for some time. Nikon is going to be finally integrating it into their camera. While for some people that doesn't seem like a big thing, this is something that's been missing in Nikon cameras for years. One of the things that I thought about with my A7R5 was the technology that they implemented behind that. The launch video made it sound like a really great thing, and while I never got a chance to use it, it was something that I wanted to try out. The technology that Sony implemented in the A7R5, or well, I should say improved upon from the earlier A7R4, was that now they're able to do up to 16, I think 20, up to 20 shots, and utilize that to get you a really good image, while negating image shift. I should say image shift, movement in the image, because of course you're doing an image shift that's moving things around, and if there's something moving in the frame, it's going to get picked up. I've seen earlier iterations where things end up being red, green, and blue lines, or it looks kind of fuzzy with the trees and so on. On Sony's website, and you can still see it up there up until now, for the A7R5, they showed you where there's an image being taken and there was a car that was moving in the image. Now, it seems to me that somehow they basically picked out the best shot from that movement and got rid of the rest of it. So that's what they're doing. I think that'll be an awesome thing. If the camera is utilizing the iBase to kind of move around very quickly and get 16 shots, not like in the old days where it kind of it's left, right, up, down to get the shot, but it can move around faster because now we have new technology. You can just click the camera once and the camera will take all those photos and it's done. Something else that I would also like to see them adopt is Fuji's way of doing it, where basically as they're shifting things around, they're making sure that every pixel on the sensor, red, green, and blue, is basically capturing all the information. So the end result ends up being a much better image color-wise. Not just so you capture it, but the white balance and all the color that's being seen in the image is captured to a level that the detail is really awesome. When you do an interior photograph, sometimes you have to get those low lights and those highlights so you can capture the shadows, correct exposure as well, and then you put them all together, get the nice end results. If you can do that with one shot or the one press of the button on the camera and it takes care of everything else, and you have an image at the end that's really good, that'd be fantastic. I don't think we're at the level yet where everything will be done in camera, but if they can do that, that would be awesome. That's something I'm hoping that Nikon takes to the next level and go, hey, we got this fantastic processor. We're going to take all the photos inside the camera. And when you're in that mode, we give you one photo that's complete. Now, we know that with some of the images, the HDR images, they can give you multiple photos and you can see them at the end. But if it does the same thing, you can have all those images if you want to do some tweaking or whatever at the end. But what they give you is a final result that is taken care of in camera. You don't need to use any other software to do that. That would be fantastic. That being said, it's not going to be for every use case. Again, if you're doing product photography, you're doing something like indoors housing, you're doing landscape photographs, that is something that those folks who do that kind of work would appreciate. And some of us may want to have something that's really good at that level. If you want to print and put on your wall, that's great as well. When you're working with large photos, that can basically tax your computer. So if your camera can do everything, get it completed inside the camera and just give you the end result, I think a lot of us would like that. Now, I'm not saying this is what's coming. I'm just saying this is what I would like to see. I have no insider information about what's coming. I would have loved to have something. I visited the camera shop a couple of days back and, wanted to see if I can get some information, but nobody seemed to have any information about it. So this is just my wish on this technology, what could come out. Something else. I remember my A7R5 and its articulated screen, or multi-angle articulated screen. If you've watched my videos, you've heard me complain that Nikon, while it has a really good sturdy screen back there, it's a pretty big screen with a pretty big bezel and a pretty big border around it. Now, if they can push the borders further out, get rid of the bezel, just like on the A7R5 or the Nikon cam, the ZFC, you have this almost frame-like thing. Even the bezel is like a little small, but somehow what they use on the Z8 and the Z9, get rid of the border and push everything out. You're talking maybe like a 3.6, 3.8 inch screen, usable space. That's even with a border around it. Yeah, frameless design. I think that's an awesome thing. We're looking for something that can get big, as those of us been shooting film for years and now into digital. We like to see our things, but as we get older, we need to add an extra pair of eyes to help us to see. And if we can now get bigger screen in the back of our camera inside of that small space that's back there, that'll be a win-win for a lot of us. I'd appreciate it. I think younger people would appreciate it as well. And based on the size of what it's supposed to be, the F3, I looked at the specs of that and I saw what the measurements were by Nikon Rumors. I'm like, that's basically the length and the height of the Z8. So we don't know the depth just yet, but even, if we get something a little bit thinner than the Z8, which I think is going to be, but you have a pretty good screen back there, yay, that's a win in my book. And of course, again, A7R5 size, multi-angle flip all the way around. Yeah, street camera, vlogging camera, hipster camera, whatever you want to call it. Those of us who have it or want it, will shoot photograph with it. Those of us who want to do video with it can do the same thing as well. Now, while I love my Z8, it's a bit bulky to carry around. And of course, if I want to hey, let me shoot something myself while I'm in this air and I'm holding the camera, it's heavy. I can't see myself. I can trust that it'll do a good job because, these static videos I'm doing right now, it seems to be doing very well. My first test, I had to put that box in there to help me out. So I'm hoping that they get rid of that type of screen like on the A7R5, which can make things a much better one. Yeah, if they have the ZFC screen on it, it's okay. But, better quality is always a good thing. All right. What else can I throw in there? Black and white. Yes, you've been watching me talk to you in black and white. And you figured that there would be some kind of discussion about that at some point. Now, let me say this. I've been looking at different cameras for the past couple of months. As you get older, you can afford more things and you want something like with better quality pictures and so on. I had an opportunity to play around with some Fuji cameras and I like that. And, John has his Hasselblad and mess around with the cameras. I see the image, I'm like, what makes this thing look so awesome? I mean, you know, the pictures that come from them are pretty good. But, well, not pretty good, they're really, really awesome. While having a discussion with John, he mentioned that these cameras are shooting 16-bit photos. I didn't even realize that there were cameras that would shoot 16-bit photos. Yeah, there are cameras out there that can probably do higher than that. I don't know. I don't know everything that's out there, but seeing what the Fuji could do and its Hasselblad, I'm like, what the heck? Why are these things so great? 16-bit photo. Kind of give you all that 3D image look to thing, right? So that got me thinking, even if Nikon is putting a 24 megapixel camera, a 24 megapixel sensor inside this camera, if they somehow bumped it up to squeeze out 16-bit photos out of this thing, that would be freaking awesome, right? You have a camera that can shoot video up to 10-bit, but because it's, built for photography, street photography, whatever you want to call it, is going to give you that next level of photography and doesn't cost as much as a medium format camera. I think a lot more people would like that as well. I know I would. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that one. Great black and white, shutter roll off, it's a 16-bit photo, just like you see with those Hasselblad Phase 1 and the Fuji GFX cameras. Would you be interested in that? Let me know in the comments. It kind of got my attention, and I started thinking, maybe Nikon would surprise us even more than we think. Again, wishful thinking here.